Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose, and today we got another knife review for you. It's one of my favorites and one of the best knives I think you can get for the money, and that is the Kershaw Camber. The Kershaw Camber. So I have to apologize quickly because I do have a cold, so my voice is kind of wacky. But that being said, let's get into the knife and compare it to a couple other knives, and I'll let you know what I think of it. So, first off, the name of it is Kershaw Camber. The overall length of the knife is 7.2 inches. The blade length is 3 inches, which personally I think for an EDC everyday carry pocket knife, you really don't need anything more than 3 inches. So, perfect length in my opinion. The handle length is 4 inches. The blade steel on it is S-30V, which is a pretty premium blade steel for a Kershaw knife. And that's kind of one of the things that really sets this knife apart compared to the other knives in the Kershaw lineup. And I made a video of the Kershaw Four Horsemen, which in my opinion are the 4 best knives for the money from Kershaw. If you click on the eye in the upper right hand corner with your cursor, I'll put a link in that for you to check out. So speaking of the blade, overall it's kind of a drop point blade. It is a flat grind here on that bevel, which is pretty sweet. I'm a huge fan of flat grinds. Then it has a decorative swedge up here that actually makes it a really good slicer. So once you get beyond that part of the stock of the knife, it'll prevent drag when actually slicing through things. It is a plain edge blade. There's a decent amount of belly that comes up to it. One of my other favorite YouTubers, I believe it's Gideon's, or Gideon's Tactical. He compared the shape of the blade to the nose of a shark or something, but I don't know if I agree with that, but it is a really excellent shape and very practical, very utilitarian. The other thing I like is that there is a choil here that allows you to sharpen the full length of the blade, which is really nice, and it's a very useful kind of thing to add into the blade. Now there is no jimping on the top or spine of the blade, and there is no thumb studs. So there's only one way of deployment, and that is through the spring-assisted flipper on the back. There is some jimping on the flipper, so you can get some grip. Some people like that, some people don't. I don't really care as long as it flips the blade out either way. But that might factor in if you're wearing cloth gloves, and we'll test that later. So, boom, it kicks out with authority, super awesome. It uses the Ken Onion Speed Safe design for Kershaw, and that's spring assist. It just flies out. Really, really sweet for spring assisted. So that is the blade, and of course the flipper becomes the finger guard, which helps for protection and to maintain a sure grip in hand. It's a stonewashed finish, flat ground, plain edge, S-30V blade. Pretty sweet. So to lock it open, it is a liner lock, and the liner is hidden within these black aluminum scales. So it does have an aluminum handle, which gives it a very strong feel, but also keeps it somewhat the light weight rather than having stainless steel scales. But you can tell that these are really tough and like thick, like these things aren't going to bend on you. So speaking of the scales, they're black aluminum, but they have these inlays or these inserts of Track Tech, which is kind of a rubberized kind of skateboard tape, grip tape inserts that allow to add traction to your grip, which is strategically placed in a couple of places. You got 2 towards the top of the pivot, around the pivot, and that just allows you to have your thumb grip on there, or your finger, or anything else, especially if you're doing like chest lever, whatever, like this. This works great, whatever cut that is. So it's pretty sweet there. And then there's one other spot, which is this kind of elongated teardrop shape. And what that's good for is when you have it in the pocket, as you can see, it's deep carry, and I'll talk about that again. Once you have it in the pocket, you're going to have the clip on the outside. You just kind of stick your thumb inside the pocket, and your thumb just attaches to that grip tape, and you kind of use the divot in that pocket clip, and you just pull out the knife perfectly just in your hand, and you're good to go. So it's like a guaranteed grip as far as pulling it out of your pocket, which is really nice. On the other side, it is just the smooth aluminum. That'll prevent any sort of wear on your pants that you are wearing. So getting into the pocket clip, it is like a black parkerized or anodized metal clip, and it is deep carry. Now, if any of you, and I don't have any knives here for the example, but if you have a Knockout or a Kershaw Shuffle or a Kershaw Cryo, they all use the same pocket clip, which is basically the same design as this, just smaller. So a bigger improvement on this is that they made it larger. You have a wider surface area on the clip, and then the actual thickness of the clip sticks out more, which accommodates thicker pants, so like jeans or any sort of tougher materials that most people wear. And that works awesome. It is two-way positionable, tip up, left or right carry, which is fine, especially for a flipper. And then it has a recessed hidden lanyard post there for any of you lanyard guys. So, other than that, the weight on this knife is 3.85, so it's not as light as some other knives that you could get, but it is sub 4 ounces, which is really excellent, and it's more than enough for any EDC carry, considering the blade length, the handle materials, and the blade material, which is S-30V, which is a huge upgrade. Most of the other knives that I compared it to in the Four Horsemen video were Sandvik steel or a BDZ1. So S-30V is known for its corrosion resistance, its edge retention, and its toughness, and this sure holds up, and it's fantastic. As far as use, I really consider this an awesome kind of EDC. It's deep carry. It's going to be inconspicuous. It's not overly big, but yet it's still very beefy and tough. It kicks out fast and locks up strong. There's no play or wiggle, and you can put this through some hard use. I've actually used it for quite a while. There's a ding there on the handle, and the tip, it did fall and hit on the tip, but the tip's actually in pretty good shape considering it fell on concrete. So definitely recommend this knife. So now let's compare it to some others real quick. I got the Cold Steel Finwolf. I have the Kershaw Blur Tonto, and then I have the Raven, because I absolutely love the Raven. So as you can see, these knives are all about the 3-inch blade length. Handle wise, the Finwolf, all these have longer handles than the Camber, which is kind of nice because it's a smaller handle. You still it helps make it a more pocketable knife, so it fits in pocket better. As far as thickness goes, it should be pretty similar to all these knives. It looks a hair thicker than the Finwolf. Looks about the same thickness as the Kershaw Blur, and the Bird Raven 2 is slightly thicker. But it is a beefy, solid piece of steel. Solid knife in hand. The only thing I'd add is maybe some jimping up here if they decide to revise this design later. But overall, this thing is nearly perfect, and it's just excellent. It'd be nice if they offer this eventually in other colors as well. So, that being said, there's one last test, and that is the ugly brown glove test. So we're going to test the grip right now. I can tell you that Track Tech insert works fantastic on these cloth gloves. Really gives it some grip there. Any aluminum spots are slick, but because that's there, I have it, and I have a sure grip as far as holding it to deploy it. Now, with the jimping on the actual flipper, I can tell you my finger has a good grip there. Boom. And then locks in really well as far as the handle. Like I said, the only thing that could improve it is some jimping up here, because I really have nothing there. Otherwise, full hand grip. The Track Tech inserts work really well. So pretty awesome. And then to close it, you can still see part of the liner there is exposed, and it's easy for me to close it, no problem. So boom, awesome. Passes the ugly brown glove test, and I'd actually say that's like 100% pass. Well, other than the jimping, we'll say 95. So excellent job, Kershaw. So overall, I honestly think this is seriously one of the best knives Kershaw makes. Definitely kind of underrated. Most people don't know about it and don't realize the deal. This, by the way, the price on this is under $100. I think I originally got this for $65. Blade HQ, I just looked at the time of this video, was selling it for about $80. But you know, if you check Amazon and other retailers, you should be able to find it anywhere from 70 to 80 bucks, and it's totally worth it. Remember, USA made. I forgot to mention that. Made in the USA. Aluminum handles and S-30V blade. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, and deep carry pocket clip. What else? So everybody check this knife out. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check the eye in the upper right hand corner. Like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys outside. Thank you.